Thank you again for joining this latest edition of the special virtual series, Ohio Sense of Place, the Athletic Corridor. I'd like to introduce our panelists who are joining us today. Ohio University's 21st President, Dr. Dwayne Nellis, Director of Athletics, Julie Cromer, Dell Robinson, a passionate Bobcat alumnus and leadership volunteer, and of course, we have a couple of our student athletes joining us as well. Julian Ross, a member of our football team, and Emily Walsh, a member of our volleyball team. Thank you all for being here today. To kick things off, let's briefly talk about a favorite memory from an athletics event here in Athens. So Julie, we'll start with you. Remember, we got to be brief to go around so that we can get to the program. So I know, tough task, but you can start it off, Julie.
Thanks, Terry, and thanks for the opportunity to be here and good to see everyone. My answer has to be brief because I've had a brief period of time where we've had athletic events on the Athens campus. So I'm going to go with the fall of 2019, the 150th anniversary of college football was played in Peden Stadium. And Julian, forgive me because I know that game didn't end as we wanted, but the atmosphere that night was completely electric. There were over 20,000 people in Peden Stadium. It was a midweek game. We had perfect football weather. And I think it really gave us a glimpse of what we can create in terms of an engaging environment for everybody in Peden Stadium. So for me and my short time here on campus, that's probably my favorite memory.
That's great. Thank you, Julie. Okay, Dell, you're up.
My favorite memory is probably within my junior year. We were having a pretty tough season that year, and we had a win at home against Toledo. I had walked on the team, and from that, I was rewarded through being on the traveling team, but I was there that I actually transitioned to being a special team player, and we had a 92-yard kickoff that I was a part of blocking, but not actually running the ball. So step for step with Keith Crawford, who was from the city of Toledo, but with a rough season that stuck out as a memory of having that victory.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, Julian, what's one of your favorites?
One of my favorites would have to be probably my true freshman year when I came in my very first game. I had scored 2 touchdowns, so I was like the coolest thing ever, fresh out of high school.
That is awesome. And you continue to impress all of us. So that was a good one. Okay, Emily.
All right. I'm taking it all the way back to when I first came to camp here back in like 2015. I went to the volleyball camp and I did not know anybody, but I recognized a girl that I'd played against when I was about 12. And now we're roommates and one of my best friends. And I think it's just so funny how I recognized someone from my club years and met them at camp. So now we're teammates.
That's awesome. That's the way it works here at Ohio, right? Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing some of those memories. I know the group out there, some of them resonate and you all are thinking of other memories. So if you could, please remember to share any questions or thoughts in the chat, and we will be monitoring it, and we're going to try to get to any of these questions later in the evening. But right now, I know our athletic and recreation facilities are a very special part of Ohio University, and we look forward to reflecting on these important spaces even more. But it's my pleasure to share with you now the premiere of our Athletic Corridor video. We'll continue our discussion in just a few moments. Thank you.
As Bobcats, we often have reasons to celebrate together. These moments of celebration frequently take place in Ohio's athletics corridor. Whether it's rooting for a dedicated football team at Peden or cheering on recent graduates during commencement at the Convo, the athletics corridor is the backdrop for these iconic Bobcat memories. Since 1968, generations of Bobcats have gathered at the Convocation Center, commonly referred to as the Convo. The 13,080-seat athletic arena hosts Ohio's basketball, volleyball, and wrestling competitions, and during commencement serves as the last stop of the Ohio journey for many graduates. Over time, the Convo has been home to nearly 13,000 students. The arena has 63 quad-style dormitory rooms. The building, which welcomed its first residents in 1969, also houses study areas and laundry facilities. The Convo's history would be incomplete without mention of the famous musicians who performed here. In the late 1960s and 70s, the Convo was the stage for many world-renowned performers like Led Zeppelin, The Who, Simon and Garfunkel, The Beach Boys, and James Brown, and continues to be used by musical artists and performers today. The Convo is where Bobcats begin their time as Ohio students. From the President's Convocation for first-year students to the Ohio University commencement ceremonies, the Convo is a place for celebration. Another place for celebration in the athletics corridor is Peden Stadium, home to all Bobcat football games. Named after former football coach and athletic director Don Peden, the stadium is home to major Bobcat victories, including the dedication game in 1929 when Ohio beat Miami 14-0. Formerly known as Ohio's athletic plant, Peden originally had 12,000 seats. After renovations in 1986 and 2001, the seating capacity was doubled, bringing Peden in line with modern requirements while remaining the oldest stadium in the Mid-American Conference. In 1992, a 5-story tower was added to the stadium. The tower serves as the press box for all home football games, and it also has various offices, team meeting rooms, and athletic training facilities. Along the north side of Peden is the Perry and Sandy Sook Academic Center, the most recent addition to the athletics corridor, having been completed in August of 2018. In addition to providing dedicated study and instructional support to more than 425 student athletes, on Ohio game days the Academic Center transforms into a hospitality area for donors and fans cheering on their favorite team. The Sook Academic Center was made possible by the incredible generosity of Ohio alumni and donors. The total budget of approximately $7 million was completely funded by Ohio Athletics and included a generous league gift of $2.25 million by Ohio alumni Perry and Sandy Sook. In 2014, the athletics corridor saw the construction of Walter Fieldhouse, which was also made possible by the generosity of donors, including a lead gift by Bob and Peggy Walter. Walter Fieldhouse is important to Ohio University and its students from dawn till dusk, from the military cadets in training to the Marching 110 to indoor practice for our teams to the Athens community during open recreation hours. Walter Fieldhouse's accommodations include a 93,750 square foot field house with indoor space to practice and train, and amenities like a 100-yard football field, 2 scoreboards, a 316-meter track, golf and hitting cages, and a netting system. Just a short walk away from Walter Fieldhouse are the outdoor stadiums and track fields, beginning with the playing field for Ohio University's women's soccer games, Ncaa Field. Previously a practice field for field hockey, lacrosse, and soccer, Ncaa was renovated in 2002. A gift from Scott Blower and Krista Beagle-Blower provided funding for the renovation. Next to Ncaa Field is the Pruitt Field and Goldsberry Track. Named for Peggy Pruitt, the former head coach of field hockey and tennis and senior associate director of athletics, Pruitt Field is currently used by the lacrosse and field hockey teams. Surrounding the field is Goldsberry Track, named after the Ohio University athletic team's physician of 27 years, Blaine Goldsberry. The all-weather track was completed in 1976 in Peden Stadium. After the 2001 Peden renovations, Goldsberry Track was moved to Pruitt Field. After Pruitt Field and Goldsberry Track is Wren Stadium, which opened in 1998. Named after renowned coach Bob Wren, the 2,000-seat stadium hosts all Ohio men's baseball games and has a state-of-the-art press room with multiple phone and computer lines and a window at the front of the press box. Ending the line of stadiums and fields is the Ohio University Women's Softball Complex. Completed in 1998, the softball complex has a seating capacity of 2,000, an up-to-date playing field, and horizontal and vertical drains to help keep it in pristine condition. Among the more familiar facilities to recent alumni in the athletics corridor is Ping Recreation Center, known informally as Ping. Named after Ohio's 18th president Charles Ping, the center opened in 1996 and offers students the chance to use a range of workout equipment and engage in a wide variety of physical activities like basketball, floor hockey, soccer, racquetball, and volleyball. No mention of campus recreation will be complete without including the Aquatic Center and the Bird Ice Arena. Opened in 1984, the Aquatic Center has an Olympic-sized pool with 2 diving boards, ample space for creative programming, and locker rooms for the Bobcats' men and women's swimming team. Bird Ice Arena was built in 1957 and underwent major renovations in 2001. Home to the four-time American Collegiate Hockey Association National Champions men's hockey team, Bird Arena has an illuminated 190 by 85-foot ice surface. Games played in Bird Arena have been a favorite weekend pastime for generations of students and community members. In these facilities along the scenic Hocking River, we see the importance that sport and recreation have to so many Ohio students. Whether practicing on one of the fields or playing golf on the campus's rolling 9-hole golf course, Bobcats enjoy the benefits of the intramural and recreational activities Ohio has to offer. From cheering in the student section at games, hosting world-famous entertainment, and clapping for Ohio students as they celebrate life-changing milestones, the Athletics Corridor will continue to be the place where generations of Bobcats gather to support one another for years to come.
Well, I don't know about you, but that brought back a lot more memories for me as well. And I really appreciated being able to share this video with you all tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did, and keep posting in the chat your memories and questions and so forth. It just reminds me, I learned so much every time I watch one of the Ohio Sense of Place videos about all of the special places we have on this campus. And so it warms my heart, and we've got big things happening now. As an aside, through the process of planning this event, we were reminded that Peden Stadium is a registered Ohio historical site. In fact, it's the oldest stadium in the Mid-American Conference and the 29th oldest collegiate football stadium in the nation. So we thought you'd enjoy that piece of information. I know that we had someone mention that to us, and so we're just happy to share that as well. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Julie Cromer, Ohio University's Director of Athletics, to share exciting news about Ohio athletics. Julie?
Terry, thanks. And again, it's great to see everyone, and thanks for your comments in the chat, and appreciate those who put work into that video. It's extraordinary to hear the stories of each of those venues and to imagine how many students, be they varsity student athletes or club or recreation students, who have come through and have benefited from the use of those facilities and from the generosity of so many people. I think it's important every time I have an opportunity to talk about what we do within the athletics department. And while that may seem obvious to some, the easiest way I can describe our day-to-day purpose is to build leaders and communities through sports. And on the leadership side, we do that by graduating, we do that by winning, we do that by redefining success for each of our student athletes. And we talk all the time about how important it is to set our student athletes up to meet their individual potential, but then also to help them understand how to draw the potential out of the others around them, so that it's about ourselves, but it's also about the teams that we connect with and the ways that we serve. And I'll leave to you, Julian, the story you shared with us even before we started about serving your team, your program, and even your university in different ways. The other thing we take pride in is building communities, and I can't tell you how excited we are to be able to get back into these venues with our supporters and fans and community this fall. We're hopeful that every indication is that we'll be able to do that. And if nothing else, encouraged by the fact that we'll see graduation ceremonies in Peden later this week for, I believe, the first time in our history. And so we're excited for what's to come. We've talked a lot as we are turning the corner and hopefully emerging from this pandemic. We've talked a lot about coming back stronger and being ready to position ourselves to gain ground on our MAC peers. And so I think, Terry, one of the things that is helpful to share tonight is just the rally cry and call to action of Time to Rise, which is an initiative we're launching this summer. And we've talked about it with our student athlete leaders, with our coaches, with some of our campus partners, and even we're starting to talk about it with donors. And it's really a call to action for our department to raise the bar and the standard for excellence to apply to all sports. We have a rich and solid history of championship excellence across our department. And we've had stretches in our department where we've absolutely been on top of the Mid-American Conference in a number of sports, but that hasn't been recently. And so we've spent a lot of the last year as we've hunkered down to survive and prepare to thrive post-pandemic, we've talked a lot about how we can come back stronger. And Time to Rise is our reorganization initiative to do that. So we hope within the next 5 years to position our 16 sports to compete for the recent Jacoby trophies, which are the all sports trophies in the Mid-American Conference. We've been there before. There was a time, some of these photos you just showed in the video reflected that time. There was a time when Ohio absolutely owned, particularly one of those trophies. And so it's time for us to get back. There's no reason not to. You have tonight 2 of our best representatives from the department. So I'm not going to spend a lot of my time. I want to save some time for them. But we've spent a lot of time recentering around the student athlete experience as a first step toward this in our department this year. Even though we couldn't play in front of fans, we were already working on the infrastructure for Time to Rise. And I'm really excited about where that will lead our department and how that will help us continue to advance the visibility of Ohio University. So with that lead in, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to introduce Julian Ross, who is about to be a super senior for our football program. And it's a unique category that not a lot of people in history, Julian, we hope will live, right? Because the super senior means somebody who's coming back, not for his 4th year as a senior, not for his 5th year as a senior, but for a redo of our COVID year based on the Ncaa rule that allows students to come back. So we're thrilled Julian's coming back. Julian is an incredible leader for us within the football program, but he also is within our department. He's been a multi-year member of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Executive Committee. He's been one of the founding members of Bobcats Lead Change, which is a new student group that started over the last year. And my personal favorite, he hails from Kansas City, Missouri, which is right up the road from my hometown. So without further ado, Julian, I'll turn the floor over to you so you can share some comments tonight.
I was going to say thank you guys for all coming and listening to everyone here. I know I don't have as much interesting things to say as much as everyone else on the screen does, especially Emily. But kind of getting into it, I just definitely want to say thank you guys for sure. But as a student athlete here on campus, it's been amazing. It's been a very grateful experience for me personally. I definitely grown through every situation, and throughout my career here as a football player, I would definitely say it didn't go as much as I wanted it to go. I've experienced a lot of different adversities and all different types of situations in life. But kind of in life, you need those in order to grow. And I've been very appreciative of being here and being able to experience those here on the campus. And I look very forward to this next season. Turns out I'm a little older than I thought I was. So I'll be actually entering my 5th season. I still have that 6th year to go. So it'll be fun, but I'm excited for this next season. I really hope you guys are able to tune in because we're building something great over there on the Ohio football side. But overall, through athletics, I think this next initiative that we have, and we've talked about, I've been a part of some of those conversations. I really do look forward to that happening. I think it'll benefit all sports around, and I'm really excited. I know Ohio men's basketball kind of kick us off pretty early. And so I'm glad they got to do that. And so as another team, another sport here on campus, I know Emily looks forward to it as well because they had a great season. We plan on doing the same. And so I think that's our hope for this season. And I really hope you guys get to be a part of that. And especially if you're going to come, at least say hi. This is what I look like. So at least say hi. For sure, I'll be able to talk to anyone. I'm always down to talk. I really enjoy it, especially if you guys would be able to come and support. But overall, I'm excited for this next season. I'm excited for what we have planned for Ohio athletics, and it's great to be a part of it. And I'm glad you guys are able to come back and see, but I'll hopefully be able to come back and experience it as well as we will. So I really look forward to it. Thank you, guys. Oh, I guess I can kick it off to Emily. She's prepared to talk about their amazing season they just had. So go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks, Julian. So I'm a rising senior. I'm from a town a little bit north of Dallas, Texas. If you're a football fan, you might know Allen High School. So that's where I'm from. You might be thinking that's quite a long way away from OU, but when I was selecting my school, I was really looking at first at like where had good journalism programs. And so this was at the top of my list. And it took me visiting campus, and I was like, uh-oh, I love this place. So I went to camp, I met my coaches and the other girls on the team, and just something about the culture at OU really resonated with me. And I haven't looked back ever since. It literally took me 2 days to commit here. So so that's a little bit about how I got here. But the journalism school is something that I'm really proud to be a part of. I major in strategic communications, and I minor in business and sports management. So I look forward, though, to like continue to be involved in athletics through my journalism pathway. So that's what I'm really looking forward to after school. But I'm just very grateful to have been a part of the volleyball team here at OU. Some of my, I guess I could share my favorite memory. We have a teammate from Italy, and we got to go actually visit, we got to go play in Europe and do a little tour. I think it's Italy, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Austria. And so that was probably like one of my top experience of my lifetime, thanks to OU volleyball. And it was really cool to meet her family and see where she came from. Just a really cool team building experience for sure. And yeah, no, I think OU is such a cool fit. And I was telling my parents this the other day. The size of the school is so nice because everywhere you go, there's a new opportunity to meet a new face or find something new that you haven't heard of or met before. But anytime, I love to go on a daily walk, and every time somebody honks to wave hi, or I see someone on the trail that I know through either classes or through sports, and it's just the whole experience to be an athlete, but to be a student at OU has been incredible. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to my senior season. Time flies, but I think our team's so excited to hopefully have some fans in the gym next year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yeah, so Terry, you can see, two here tonight, there are almost 450 in our student athlete group, and they're all just really great leaders in the making. If I have anything to do with it, we'll convince Julian to pursue his interest in college athletics and maybe come back to Ohio one day as an athletic director. I didn't get a chance to talk about Emily. One of the things I love about her experience here is not only has she also been involved in our student athlete advisory committee, and she's on their exec committee this year, and she's been involved with Bobcats Lead Change as well, and a leader in the volleyball program. But we have established this year this opportunity for some of our student athletes to come into the decision-making room with our athletic department and work directly with some of our athletic administrators who are deciding policy and making budget decisions about the department. And Emily has been one of those student athletes and has given us really great insight and has represented not only her own teammates in sport well, which you can imagine is quite an opportunity. If you get to come in and talk to the CFO of the athletic department, you might want to put in a word or two for your team or your teammates, right? But she's an excellent representative for all 16 of our sports as well, and has really helped us move forward in integrating the student athlete voice in our decision making. So I'm just so proud of these two. I'm proud to be their athletic director. I'm glad you got to have a chance to hear from them tonight.
Thanks, Julie. And I couldn't agree more. Julian and Emily represent all of our student athletes so well, and what a wonderful example for all of us, and really appreciate their joining us tonight. I think it's a nice glimpse into all the things that are great here. And Julie, under your leadership, we have no doubt we're on the trajectory. We're going to get that Reese and Jacoby back to Athens where it belongs. And so we're on our way. So now I'm pleased to ask alumnus Del Robinson to share some words with us about his experience as a student athlete, why he chose Ohio University, and how your education has helped shape your career path. So Del, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Terry. It is evident looking at our present student athletes, one of the reasons why I chose Ohio University. It's a great student experience. It's a great student athlete experience. The sports administration school and the moniker and the branding was what led me here through the major, knowing that it was strong back then, and actually sports administration as a major invented here through 1971, the program, drew me to Ohio University, along with friends that were already here a couple years before me. It gave me a chance that I started off at a Division III and transferred right away when I knew I wanted a bigger and more holistic experience of what college was really about. I landed on campus knowing that one thing on the sports administration side, academically, that's what I wanted to do, and to revitalize my thought process that I thought I could play in college. And that being said, they had walk-on and tryouts that year. 65 of us, 13 made it. That was an experience where you actually walked over to Convo and actually saw your name there in that place that I actually had a team or something else to belong to. For those that are student athletes, affinity, team, that's something that keeps you going. It's something that retains you as a student. It's something that builds you as a leader. Those were things that built me over time. I had Dr. Higgins in class, and over time, he would ask me about the team that I felt real important because I wasn't a star, but that connectivity made me every day within the class when Grover was open to kind of say is that I felt a little bit better about myself. I felt a little bit more confident. And that was one of the things that kind of kept me going. Stayed close to the institution. I hope our student athletes and those who are listening out there, they continue to stay close. Why? Because you've had a good experience, because teachers cared about you, because professors poured themselves into you. Wherever I was, people were about the business of saying is that you can be a leader. That seed got planted when I was at Ohio University to ask me to be a part of a club, to be a part of a fraternity. All of those things came forth during that time of somebody saying, we believe in you. So if I've been able to ascend and do different things after I've left the institution, I felt it was my duty to return to this academy to say that I have to give back. People give back in time, talent, and treasure. Some people can do all three. Some people will do a little bit or break it into thirds at different times of your life. They'll have various evolutions. I've tried to do a little bit of them all. Serving right now as a search consultant in the area of sport. We look for coaches, we look for athletics directors. Our nexus is pretty much D2 and D3 and trying to build the business out. So there's naturally a place for me to return to my alma mater, oftentimes to see the talent that's coming out of the sports administration school, as well as those that are ascending as students. And that's the way that I also give back there through life lessons learned and talking about opportunities that are out there to fulfill or help people fulfill their dreams. You can get anywhere in the nation from where you pick, but you definitely could get anywhere in the top of the nation through Ohio University. I am proof of that as a first generation college student who's, other siblings as well, went to school, picked it out of a thought that I could go there and become somebody. And I've been a contributing citizen to society and a contributing citizen to Ohio University. Emily, both you and Julian and your teammates will be the same. And we hope for those alumni that are on this call to continue giving, to continue to find your place, to continue to find out where is your niche? Where is it returning to campus? Is it adjunct? Is it guest lecturing? There's so many different things that you can do. So redefine what giving means. And there's a whole lot of avenues of which Ohio University's placed me in the different slots to say, will you do this for us or will you do that? So they love to check. You always will, but at the same time, annex that with something else and do that little bit more. And the product, Emily, Julian, the teams, how well we watched our team and our basketball team succeed. Whose heart that does not warm? So excellent experience. Let's keep feeding the pipeline as alumni and as an alumni group. All of you, touch your colleges, touch your teams if you are part of a team, touch your clubs. Don't forget that, as Julie missed, and keep pushing this institution to be the top institution that it always is and always will be.
Wow. Thank you, Dell. talk about inspiration. That was fantastic. And that's one of the reasons that we love to call you a Bobcat. You are just so supportive of the university in everything you do. And you hit on some great points. I mean, there's a place for everyone here to participate, and that's fantastic. And Julian and Emily, you guys exemplify that tonight by participating. So, wow, wonderful. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Ohio University's 21st president, Dr. Dwayne Nellis. Dr. Nellis?
Yeah, thank you, Terry, and thanks everyone for being part of this special video opportunity tonight to talk about the athletic corridor and the impact it has on our university, its overall importance to our university. And a particular thank you to Julian, Emily, as well as Dell and Julie for being available to provide comments. It's so heartwarming to hear the student athlete perspective, and as well as an alum of our athletic programs, but also the leader of our athletic programs through Julie Cromer. You know, I hear so often when I travel or here in Athens, when I engage with alumni and friends of the university about how we're doing with Ohio athletics, all the different dimensions of that, and how much it has meant to people that were students at Ohio University or who follow Ohio University from not only all over the United States, but all over the world. And these alumni tell me of how much they learned that were student athletes, how much they learned as student athletes, and how much it impacted their lives, and how much a particular coach meant to them, or a particular team or a teammate. And this has stayed with them throughout their lives and truly been transformational. And it's amazing to think about the history of our athletic and recreational facilities and what they've meant to our Athens campus. You know, driving across the Hocking River and seeing Peden Stadium off to the right and the Convo to the left, it's just such a beautiful setting and historic facilities, and we're so proud of these facilities. And again, the student athletes that have walked and played in those facilities and participated in making us such a success as a national university. You know, I watch closely not only our athletics, our student athletes as far as their success on the performance on the court or the field or the pitch or whatever, but I also look at their academic performance. And currently, Ohio athletics boasts a 90% graduation success rate for a 4-year average. That means that 9 out of 10 student athletes who started college in 2013 have actually earned their degrees, and that's the highest percent that we've recorded in institutional history. So we're very, very proud of that. So these student athletes take their academic side of their experience very seriously as well, and I couldn't be more proud of them. And again, looking at the Convo, looking at Peden, looking at all of our various facilities, we've added, as you know, the Perry and Sandy Sook Center as an academic center to support our student athletes, and we're really, really proud of that. And Walter Fieldhouse as well has been a great addition, and we continue to expand and make improvements in Peden and the Convo, and I know our softball field and our baseball field, there have been improvements in recent years. But I also want to think about all the students that are not student athletes that have wonderful, wonderful memories of being able to watch these student athletes perform and our teams perform and their successes. They have vivid memories of those days of watching our athletic teams perform and what that meant to them and continues to mean to them. And also for those that participate in things like our cheer squad and our dance team and the marching 110, they're all interlinked and a very important part of the atmosphere that is associated with our athletic corridor. So, you know, this has been a strange year with COVID-19, but our students were out there competing at the highest level. And we were so proud of both our men's and women's basketball teams this year. They had extraordinary success and created, I heard from people all over the world who I hadn't heard from in years when we beat the defending national champions in basketball in the first round of the NCAA tournament, men's basketball. That was just amazing. But these are all an important part. These facilities are an important part of our history, important part of what makes Ohio University such a special place. And I appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight. And again, thanks to our student athletes for being here tonight, as well as our former student athlete, Dell Robinson, but also the leadership again that Julie provides for our athletic programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nellis. And thank you to all of our panelists. This has just been fantastic. And Dell and Dr. Nellis, you really highlighted this, as did Julie. You know, these facilities happen because we as a team of Bobcats make it happen. So there's philanthropic support, and then the great opportunities that our students have to participate in these facilities. I mean, it all happens because we as a Bobcat Nation come together to make this happen. So Julie, I think there was a question maybe for you in the chat. We've got a couple of minutes here, so if you've got a question, get it in there quick. Regarding maybe some upcoming priorities. You talked a little bit about it. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on and make this great group aware of?
So the question is, what are my priorities, or what are
Yeah, maybe just some of our wish lists on the horizon to help.
Well, sure. So I do think, you know, as I mentioned, we are working on our positioning coming out of the pandemic, and in anticipation of broader efforts that would be linked with the campus efforts maybe in coming years. Right now, we're really focusing on those things that will provide depth to our student athlete experience, that will bring life to the facilities we're in, and will position us to climb the ladder toward those all sports trophies. So we have a lot of operational interests that directly impact our student athletes, efforts in sports medicine and in career planning and placement to a degree, and nutrition and other things that are operational. But you know, we tonight we're talking about the athletics corridor, and I think it's important that we commit to keeping those facilities you know, up to date and refreshed. And so some of that will be part of our Time to Rise conversation as well later this year.
Great. I think there was one last question in the chat that I noticed regarding our the ice hockey team. We've got some diehard ice hockey fans out there that want to know, do we have any plans for making it an NCAA team, or we're going to continue where we are?
I don't know who's supposed to respond to that.
Sorry, Julie. That was just a question that came in for Julie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You know, we support and appreciate the hockey team. They're a program that's not within our athletic department. So I personally maybe don't own the decision-making tree in that regard, but I really appreciate what that program brings to our university. I know it's a deep part of who we are as a university. I will admit to you, I meet as many people who ask about the men's ice hockey program and are connected to the men's ice hockey program as I do just about any other program on campus. So I know there's a rich tradition there, and you know, we celebrate their successes just like I think they celebrate ours. In fact, Coach Bowles was over to talk with them. I think they recently had maybe their last game of the year, and he went in and gave them a little pep talk. And so we appreciate them very much and enjoy them as campus partners.
Great. Well, wonderful. I think this has been an amazing evening that we've shared with all of you out there. Again, I wanted to thank all of our special panelists for your time and your insights and getting us revved up and ready for next season. We're all going to come out and cheer on Julian and watch Emily and just have a wonderful year. So stay safe and well, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. Good night.